Hey everybody, I'm Tiffany Weber. I'm a real estate lawyer in Mooresville, North Carolina. And today I'm going to talk about, because for some reason people want to know this, my legal journey after 6 years of the practice of law. So I am a second career lawyer, meaning I did something else before I practiced law. I graduated from Wingate University in North Carolina when I was 20. I got out of school and I became a pharmaceutical sales rep and realized quickly that was not really for me. So I left there and worked at Electrolux Major Appliances all through law school. It was while I was at Electrolux that I decided I'm going to go to law school. But it didn't really make sense for my family, my husband and I, for me to quit my job that paid me well to go to law school full time. So I was one of those crazy people that worked full time and went to law school at night. So having gone through that process, I continued working the whole time, graduated, and I believed all through law school that I was going to stay at my corporate job and eventually work my way into the legal department. And for all kinds of reasons, we were acquiring another appliance company and that deal fell apart. And the more I realized I would be better at being in-house if I went and practiced in a firm first. I decided, okay, I'm going to leave this cushy job that I love with the people that I love working with, and I'm going to go work in a law firm. So I started looking around for jobs and, started interviewing. And the one that I connected with the most was a litigation attorney in Mooresville. I didn't live in Mooresville at the time, but I didn't live far away. So when I did this, it was a big leap of faith. I think a lot of people get the illusion that when you are a lawyer, you make a lot of money. And I hesitate even saying this on camera because a lot of people are going to think I'm insane. But I took a big pay cut. I started my first legal job as an attorney making $25,000 a year. And thankfully, my boss was great. I got plenty of raises in a very short amount of time. I was definitely fairly compensated for my work. But it was a big leap of faith because there was no guarantee that those things would happen. So that's another thing. If you're going into law, don't assume that you're going to be making bank right away. It's just not true. But I went into litigation, and if you had asked me during law school, would I have chosen a career in litigation? Absolutely not. That was one of the stated practice areas I said I didn't want to go into. In fact, when I told the people that I was working with in the legal department at Electrolux, they all said, I thought you didn't want to do litigation. I'm like, I don't think. But I went into it. I learned so much from my boss, and I got to work on really interesting cases, and I found that there were a lot of things I really liked about it. I love writing. I actually liked arguing in court. I really didn't think that I would, but I did like that. And I gained so many skills. And during that process, my boss merged firms with another firm that had real estate and family law practice. And during that time, I got to know the man that would eventually become my law partner, Ben Thomas. And, when you work in a firm as an associate, I think if you're smart, you'll start asking the other partners anything you need help with, because the more you know, the more you learn, and the more you're willing to try to help and learn, the better opportunities you have to move up if you want to. Not everybody wants to move up. Some people are happy being associates for their career, and that's a great thing. That was not in the cards for me because I wanted to continue growing to eventually become a partner. So having worked in litigation, I started bugging this guy, Ben Thomas, saying, is there anything I can help you with? Is there anything you need? And for the most part, he said no until we were working on a Habitat for Humanity house. And he was very involved in Habitat for Humanity. And he's going through kind of like, if you volunteer at Habitat, if you've ever done that, then you know that there's a part where you go through the waiver, you have to sign it, they give you a safety briefing. And that day, Ben was giving the briefing. And he kind of made a joke about, oh, don't worry about that waiver. You don't have to read it. It doesn't mean anything. And I called out, yeah, that's because you wrote it, didn't you? And I realized immediately I never should have said that because it was rude. But he thought it was hilarious. So the next time I asked him if he had anything to work on, he said yes. And that's all it took. I just needed to make fun of him a little bit. So that is where I started getting an introduction to real estate law. I didn't know if I would like it, but you won't know if you like a certain area of law if you never step your foot into it. So he started teaching me, and I realized, wow, I really do like this area of law. I wasn't sure that I'd like transactional practice, but I loved it. I loved the client interaction. I loved that it gave me an ability and an opportunity to educate people who would otherwise not really interact with attorneys about the law, so that when they left their closing, they could feel empowered about what just happened. It's really important to me, if you've ever talked to me about why we explain everything the way that we do, is that I don't want someone walking out of the closing room saying, what just happened in there? So I realized I loved that. So after a couple of years of working with Ben, we realized we wanted to focus on just real estate law. So the firm decided to split up into its separate practice areas. And, at the age of 30, I became a partner in Thomas & Weber. I did not imagine that at the age of 30, I would be a partner in a firm, specifically the one that I am, that was, thriving and having fun and doing things a little bit differently. But I definitely did not expect that my law partner would pass away within a year of us becoming partners. So that's kind of where we are now. Just a little shy of a year ago, Ben Thomas passed away. We miss him terribly. But he had done such a good job of building a brand and a legacy that we're proud to carry on and make sure that people continue to know his name in the community. It'll be a long, long time before they ever forget about him. But I'm lucky that I got to learn from him and practice law with him. So I've had a little bit of an unconventional journey in the law, but that's okay. I think it's good because it helps young lawyers or new lawyers or people considering law school see that there is no perfect path. I'm incredibly happy and fulfilled in my career. I never thought I could enjoy a job so much that I do right now. And if I hadn't done those weird kind of unconventional things, like going to law school at night while working, or taking a big risk to, take a pay cut and go into a practice area I thought I never wanted to work in, then this would not have happened. So I think you need to be open-minded when you think about where you want to be someday, because it may not be a straight line to get there. Right now, Thomas & Weber, I don't have a partner anymore, so I guess I don't know what to call myself. I can't call myself partner, but I guess I'm like the principal or managing attorney and owner. So in addition to me, we have 3 attorneys, so 4 total, 2 associates, and a part-time of-counsel attorney who's been practicing 20 years and helps us when she has time. We also have, I think, 12 or 13 paralegals now. It's hard to keep count because we got so many people running around. So we have a big team of women that are, really ready to make sure you have a good experience for your real estate closing. And 6 years ago, when I left my cushy job, I never imagined that this would be what I get to walk into every day. So if you're thinking about becoming a lawyer, I would just strongly encourage that you really give it a shot, and know that if you are willing to take risks, take chances, then you too could certainly wake up every day doing your dream job. So if that's you and you have questions, or you have ideas that you want to kick around, comment below so we can start the conversation. I'd love to talk to you. So just make sure you drop that comment below. Again, I'm Tiffany Weber. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.